Hey everybody, so we're going to be doing a unit rate review right now. I wanted to switch things up, and instead of having the video before the lesson, I wanted to try having a video after the lesson. That's why we did the week this way. So what I'm going to do is, since we went over today, I'm not going to go over the stuff we went over in class, but instead I'm going to do new work. So you're going to see some new stuff instead of just reviewing the same thing over and over. Same topic, just new questions. So here, the main thing you need to know is that a unit rate, let me write this down here. A unit rate is a type of ratio. It's a ratio that measures how many of something per unit of something else. So for example, here, oh, this is way too big. Let me make that smaller. There we go. So here we have on-call and talk time. So if you remember during class, I talked about how for unit rates, it's really good for comparing which is a better value, which when do you get more of. It's really good for comparing two ratios that you really have a hard time comparing. For example, 3.5 hours for $10 versus 1/2 hour for $1.25. Just looking at it, I'm having a really hard time figuring out which is the better company to go with. This is where unit rate comes into play. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find the unit rate of each one of these ratios. Now we know it's a ratio because we see the little colon there. Remember, the colons are a pretty easy way to tell if it's a ratio. So the first ratio we have is 3, oh, that's way too, there we go. 3.5 hours, I'm just going to put HRS, to 1/2 hours, $1.50, sorry. So right here, I'm just going to do the on-call one first. The way we're going to do this is we're going to use butterfly method. Now, for butterfly method, there's going to be two parts. The first part is you need to know what you have. So this is what we have. This is what was given to us. And then you want to know what you want. I want to know what unit rate dollars per hour. So I want to know how much it costs for 1 hour. Okay. Now, I don't know how much it costs. So I'm going to put X, because if we don't know the value of something, remember we put a variable X, Y, Z, sad face, Q. It really doesn't matter as long as it's a symbol that's not a number, so you know that it's just a symbol. So I'm going to put X here, and this is what we want. So first we have what we have, and this is what we want. We want to find out the cost per hour, but we only have the cost per 3.5 hours. Okay, I don't know why I put 1/2 there. Actually, here we go. This should have been 3.5 hours is $10. Sorry about that. Put a little typo there. Okay, same difference. Luckily I caught that before I started doing any of the actual math. This is just the setup. So right here. So right now we have 3.5 hours. We're going to rewrite this as a fraction. Remember, there's 3 ways to write a fraction. You can either write it as this, or you could write it as a fraction, or you can write it in words. So these are the 3 ways. All I'm doing is rewriting it from this form to this form. Not changing anything. I'm not changing the value. I'm just changing the way it looks. So here I have 3.5 over 10 equals 3.5 hours. Labels is important. Over $10. Now, it doesn't matter which one I put on top. It really doesn't. The only thing that matters is that whatever I put on top here, I also have to put on the top here. So because I put hours on top, I need to put hours on top here. So here I have 1 hour over X. Now, The reason why I set it equal to each other is because they are supposed to be equal. They're supposed to kind of show the same trend, same pattern. It's just different forms of measurement. It's kind of like if I said 12 inches versus 1 foot. I'm just changing the way it's measured. 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. They're exactly the same. But here, I'm measuring instead of every 3.5 hours, I'm measuring every 1 hour. So that's why I can set them equal. Because the value in itself, the pattern is still equal, I'm just measuring differently. So once I'm here, this is my setup. I am now going to do butterfly method. So if you remember, a butterfly method is we literally make butterfly wings. So here, there's my first butterfly wing. There's my second butterfly wing. And so now that I made my butterfly wings, I'm going to multiply within the wings. So here I have $10, 10 times 1 is equal to 3.5 times x. Then I multiply it out. 10 times 1 is 10 equals 3.5 times x. Can't really do anything there. Now here's the part that a lot of you were getting stuck on, which is completely fine. We need to do a little bit more practice with this. So what we're going to do is we want to move everything away from the x because we want to solve for x, right? We want to say x equals something, right? But we can only do that if there's nothing except the x there. So we want to move this 3.5 because we don't want it with the x. But how do we do that? Well, the way we do that is we just do the opposite of whatever it was doing before. So right here, it was 3.5 times x. It's multiplying to the x, which means in order to move it, we have to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we're going to divide by 3.5. Okay, so this becomes x equals 10 divided by 3.5. So if we have 10 divided by 3.5, I can work that out over here. Actually, let me see. Do I have room here? Okay. So we have 3.5. Oh no, 10's on the inside. 10 divided by 3.5. Cool. So here, we're gonna do 10, we're gonna move this over once. Because remember, when you're dividing decimals, you cannot have a decimal on the outside as the divisor here. You have to make it a whole number before you divide. So I'm going to move that there. But because I moved one to the right on the outside, I don't know why it's so bad. Hold up, let me change the zoom settings. Maybe it'll write better. Okay, let's try this. Better. Okay, so we're going to move the decimal point here, and then, but because we moved one place on the outside, we also got to do one on the inside. So my new problem is 35 on the outside, 100 on the inside. So 100 divided by 35. So so here, 35 goes into 100 twice. So that's 70. That's 30. And then I decimal, bring down the 0. 35 goes into 300. 35 times 7. Okay, we can go a little higher. 35 times 8. Okay, that's about as close as we're gonna get. Wait, there's something wrong here. 24. Oh, that should have been a 3. That's why. Because that's 35. Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. So 280. So minus 280 is 20. Bring down the next 0. and it goes into 20 0 times. Now, it doesn't really, I don't need to go further than this because remember we're dealing with money and you never see money go past 2 decimals. Not really. Maybe in like the gas station, but nobody really cares about that. No one's going to ask you for $2.804. They're just going to say $2.80. They're not even going to care about the 4. So we know now that x is equal to $2.80. And the reason for that is because we divided 10 by 3.5. So right here, we know that for every 1 hour, we have to pay $2.80. That's for on-call. Now we have to do the same thing for the other side. So here, if we have talk time, so I'm going to do talk time in blue. Why not? Oh, no, not what I was trying to do. Okay. So talk time, our the one that we have, the one that they gave us, is 1/2 hour. Oh, that's so much nicer now I zoomed out. Okay. To one is $1.25. Okay, this is what we have. Now we have to say what we want. Well, we want how we did 1 hour here, so let's just do 1 hour here as well, so that we have the same thing to compare. Now we want 1 hour, but we don't know how much costs per hour, so I'm just going to put X. So this is what we want. So again, I'm going to rewrite these as fractions. So here I'm going to have, I'll do it in darker blue this time. So here I have 1/2 hour over $1.25. Now because I put hour on top, I also got to put hour on top here. So 1 hour is X dollars. Now I make my butterfly wings. And then I multiply. So 1/2 times X on one side. Use a darker color. 1/2 times X is equal to 1 times 1.25. So now let's just multiply it out. This is 1/2 times X. Can't really do anything there. But this becomes 1 times 1.25 is going to be 1.25. So now we're at the same spot as we were earlier. We want our X to be alone, but there's a 1/2 there. So the way to move that is we're going to take this 1/2 and we're going to move it to the other side. Now, the way we do that is this was multiply before. This is telling us to multiply, which means we have to divide. So now our new problem is X is equal to 1.25 divided by 1/2. Now, for those of you who remember your quiz, this is a lot like what we're doing in our quiz. This is why it's so important that we did Unit 1 first, because this is stuff that you need to know. You need to know how to do this. If you don't know how to do decimal and fractions, come to office hours. We'll do a lot of practice there, but you need to know these skills. Otherwise, later on, when these skills are needed, you're not going to be able to do the questions. So we have 1.25 times 1/2. I'm going to turn this into a fraction. So the way you do that, if for those of you who remember, and for those of you who don't, you find the smallest place value. In this case, it's 5. The place value is hundredths. So I'm going to put this over 100. So put a little arrow there, let you know that we're going here now. So this is 125 over 100 divided by 1/2. So just to go over that again, you take the smallest place value of your decimal and you just put the whole number over that place value. That's it. Now that we're here, we just do keep switch flip, which means we keep the first number, and this is for division of fractions. We keep the first number, we switch the division to multiplication, and then we flip the second number. Then we multiply across, and this comes out to, what is that, 250 over 100, which is like, if you do division, $250, 100 goes into 250 twice. Oh, she's a different color. Twice. It's 200. And it goes into 500 5 times. So 2.5. $2.50. So now we know $1 for talk time is $2.50, and $1 and for on-call 1 hour is $2.80. So we know that talk time is actually the better deal. Yeah. So I'll do. So which company offers the best deal? Explain your answer. Well, $2.50 is cheaper than $2.80, so talk time's better. And then another company offers a rate of 5 cents per minute. How would you find the rate per hour? Okay, well, let's just do this. Let's do another one. Let's do this one in green. All right, so we have 5 cents, so 0.05 per hour. So there we go. Per minute, sorry, for 1 minute. All right, so they changed it up on us. They used to give us hours, but now they're giving us minutes. So it's something to throw you off, but it shouldn't be too bad. So what I mean by this is we know how many minutes are in an hour. So instead of putting 1 hour, why don't we just put 60 minutes? Isn't that like the same thing? Remember, this is what we have. This is what's given to us. This is the one we want. They want it to know per hour. Well, there's 60 minutes in an hour. So it's like the same thing, right? So I don't know how much it cost for that 60 minutes. So let's figure it out. I'm going to set up my fractions. I'll do it in red, sure. So we have 0.05 over dollars over 1 minute. Now remember I said it doesn't really matter what goes on top, but because I put dollars on top here, I have to put dollars on top here. Oh, my units. And then minutes were on the bottom here, so minutes go on the bottom here. And then I make my butterfly. And then I multiply it out. So I have 0.05 multiplied by 60 is equal to 1 times x. So what's 0.05 times 60? Let's find out. Zero, zero, zero. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 0 is 0. Plus 3 is 3. 6 times 0 is 0. And then, so that's 303. And then there were 2 decimals in my problem. So there are 2 decimals in my answer. So the answer is 3.00, but you can just leave it as 3. And this is just x, because 1 times x is x. So x equals 3. That means that 60 minutes, 1 hour, is $3. A horrible, horrible unit rate. A horrible price compared to these, right? That's 50 cents more. That's like 2 gumballs. You could have one, and then you could have one later. Okay. So that's it for today. We did 3 unit rate problems. If you need me to go over more, I definitely will go over more in class, but this is it for today. and I will see you on Thursday.